Welcome to TYT Sports. Shane, back again from Fight Tips. Jason Rubin. We're going to talk about UFC. Frank Mir basically shocked everyone, I think, right, with his performance against Antonio Bigfoot Silva in his hometown of Brazil as well. First round knockout. What do you think?
That went quick. That went a lot faster than I thought it would. That jab lead hook, I mean, you're right. He was setting it up with the right hand. I mean, it looked like he was trying to lead into that right hand. Yeah. It was the hook that put him down. But what he said in the post-fight interview was interesting. He said that when you have a good jab in the heavyweight division, it's key. And he was pumping that jab. He worked the jab. Bigfoot respected it, and he pulled his hand out here, exposed himself for that lead hook, and put him down.
I know, Jason, you were talking about it before. He changed his stance. He done a Rocky Balboa and changed it completely.
So I guess you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Is what most headlines were reading. He came out orthodox and traditional southpaw, and it was just an interesting way to counter Silva's strategy. Just because when you look at like this type of fighter, I mean, he came off 4 straight losses, including one of which that was just Daniel Cormier, Junior Santos, Josh Barnett, and Alistair Overeem, all of which he was just beat. And people said his age was going to get to him physically. He couldn't compete with Antonio Silva. Well, he could. And now, as Shane was mentioning to me before, he wants Brock Lesnar. And the UFC wants nothing to do with Brock Lesnar. He's been trying to get this guy out of the sport. Do you think they're going to give him that fight?
I think it would sell. I think a lot of people would want to see that fight. I know there's still people, even on my channel, they want to see. They talk about Brock Lesnar all the time, even still. And I'm going to offend some people, but I'm not a fan. I don't see him as a good fighter. Frank Mir, I know he probably wants that fight since he got pretty beat up in the second one.
He wants the rubber match, right?
Yeah, and he wants the rubber match. So I mean, it would sell. I'm sure Dana White would make it happen, and I don't know. I'd watch it.
So what's next for Frank Mir then? Do you think that this is going to have him push forward a little bit more now that on their back, as Jason said, 4 straight losses, changing up, taking more of a boxing stance to go into this? Is this going to lead into a few new fights? Do you think he's going to kind of gain some traction?
He's had a bad past couple of fights. He's had injuries and stuff like that. He's always had an on and off career, Frank Mir, I feel like. I'd love to see him come back. Yeah. I'd love to see him beat some guys, like someone like Mark Hunt. I think that would be an awesome fight. You know, I mean, it's surprising that Bigfoot could stand and go the distance with Mark Hunt, but then get knocked out by Frank Mir. It kind of does seem like a freak accident, a flaw, but I mean, those two guys, if they went against each other, I think that would be an amazing fight.
Do you think that Antonio Silva himself didn't expect that to come out, like from the early round? I mean, everyone said
he looked stuttered by it. He just looked like he couldn't comprehend what was going on.
The commentator basically said, as he turned up, like, does he understand that the bell means the fight started? He was just standing there, and as we talked about, like, from a non-professional standpoint, I just noticed that he was shaping up for a big right. But before he could even get to the big right, he hit him with the left, and that must have just knocked him off balance. That 2 combo, and it was just interesting to see.
Looked like, speaking of dogs, I guess we'll continue this. He looked like a trained dog because Mir told him to come out and meet him halfway, and he just obliged by and just, okay. And then gets his ass kicked a minute and 20 seconds later.
So, interesting fight. As always, we love to cover UFC. Thanks for joining us, Shane. Make sure to check out Fight Tips. Great channel. And Jason Rubin, thanks for joining us and talking about this. Stay tuned. Subscribe to TYT Sports, guys.